Dan Kolko here with Lane Thomas, who's kind enough to bring us inside the cage for the segment. Lane, thanks for doing this, man.
No problem, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and you can thank me for going back to maybe the best day of your Major League career, maybe outside your debut. Let's go back to June 3rd of last year. A 3-home run game at Cincinnati. That's one to remember, I would guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I had been struggling, to say the least, up till that point, and I feel like it kind of, sparked a good, into that first half and into the second half, and started swinging it pretty good after that. So yeah, it was a good day.
So let's go back to that day now, and you hit 3 home runs at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. But what I want to highlight about these 3 homers is the location that these pitches all came in at, and they were all very different. So let's watch this back now. You've got your first homer queued up here. Fastball in, well off the plate inside, and you pull your hands in and look where you make contact. That's pretty far down there.
No doubt.
Pull that one out to left. Second one, this one you would take a couple more like this season, right down the middle. So this one you're able to get extended a little bit more. Square that one up out to right center. And then your third one, you go down for a pitch that's kind of down and in, and you drop the bat head to it, and you pull this one as well. So I don't know how well you remember those 3 specific pitches, but they are on 3 very different locations. So I wanted to have you take us through a drill that kind of reinforces plate coverage for you, that allows you to be able to get to pitches that are off the plate in, where you have to extend, that are down, that are up. So what do you have for us? How do you go about, as a major league hitter, being ready for any pitch in any zone?
Yeah, something I like to do, and this comes from, I hadn't really done this before, and Six, one of our assistant hitting guys,
Pat Rossler,
Pat
our
Rossler,
guy,
loves the, I don't know what you even call this thing, but he calls it the 7-ball, and it goes through a whole line of baseballs in different parts of the plate, and obviously that extends up and down, but it just gives you a sense of where pitches are. And early on in spring, or if it's a situation where I kind of struggled the first month and a half or even the first half, and something to get you back on track at, like getting 7 balls and 6 balls on this little chart and being able to recognize those. So it just gives you a little more pitch recognition, and it seemed to help out a lot, because then you kind of lay off the stuff that you can't handle or pitches you don't have success with. So it's something that helps me out a lot, when I get pretty down.
So you will put this actually down in front of the plate when you're taking BP in the cage, when someone's tossing
Any
you?
drill. I mean, you hit off a tee, you can hit flips, BP, machine, and I'll just pick it up and show everybody. It's literally you know how they make it. It's a piece of wood with squishy balls with numbers on it. It's not something, I'm sure they sell them, somebody makes money off it, but it wouldn't be hard to make.
Yeah. And it just reinforces, you've got the plate that's 7 balls wide, and you will, let's say you're doing this with a tee like we're going to do here. Mm-hmm. Let's say this is, kind of down the middle. That's maybe a 4 or a 5 ball right there.
For sure.
And if someone is pitching to you, do you shout out the number that you think the ball is when it's coming in, or how does that go?
Yeah, that's something you can do, is just, I can say it to whoever's throwing or feeding the machine, like, oh, is that a 4 ball? Like, that's where I had that. And he'd be like, oh, no, that's a 6 ball.
Huh.
So it's just to give you a little sense of the strike zone if you're off a little bit. Because sometimes when I get in the box and I take a strike away and I'm like, that looked like it was a foot outside, but now I got to kind of readjust my eyes and, where I think those pitches are, or vice versa for the inside part of the plate. So it just got to get you back on track, especially taking pitches you shouldn't swing at. So I think that's a big part of the game, and it's a big part of me. I know I, have the tendency to chase some stuff in because I see that pitch well. So yeah, it gets me back on track.
So if you want to fire off a couple swings here and just kind of move the tee around how you might with this 7-ball thing, and show us how you might do this.
So yeah, I would take a few, middle of the plate. That's supposed to be everybody's kind of honey hole, just to get you warmed up.
Right back up the box.
Got that camera.
Almost.
Yeah.
Now, is this how you start when you're in the cage? You like just kind of warming up?
Yeah, just the first initial, 10, 12 swings. I just loosen up. Depends on the day. Sometimes I take a little more, a little less if I feel good, or if I'm already loose from lifting or something.
Are you thinking up the middle with these, or are you?
Yeah, and then another thing is, once you hit different pitches in different lengths of the plate. So it's, when I start moving it away, I'll move the tee back a little bit and, you know, work on those outer 3 baseballs. You know, work on catching those a little deeper.
The idea there
the box,
being see it a little longer.
Yeah, you don't want to catch everything, or at least I don't want to catch everything like too far out front. So I kind of work on, you know, being able to hit some of those pitches away a little deeper in the strike zone.
Okay. So now we got like a 6 or a 7 ball.
Yeah.
And your focus with these is take it out that way, drive this ball to right center.
Yeah. That's good. Then I'll do a few in. And then that's one you can kind of move a little farther out front. Because, you know, to hit that pitch square, you have to kind of move it. I would say you got to catch that one a little farther out front of the plate. But I'm still trying to keep my hands inside in the barrel, you know, inside the ball. I'm not trying to like pull off and
because that's foul.
Hit a ground ball or
right.
Yeah.
How much are you actively, you know, when the tee is stationary, the 7 ball is not as much of a thing because you kind of know where it's going to be. But when you are facing pitching in the cage, somebody's throwing to you, are you visibly checking the 7 ball plank here, or is it more just a matter of reinforcing what you might have thought that you'd seen?
Yeah, it's more like there for you, to where you watch a ball cross, and I'm like, your initial, you know, your perspective is down, so you're just kind of looking at like where you thought it crossed one of those baseballs, and then, you know, obviously he can see it at a better view. Because like I said, you kind of have an angle. Yeah.
Do you go into an at-bat saying, I want a 3-4 or a 5? Or is it more just to kind of have a mindset of, you know, what you're seeing in a drill like this matching up with the reality of what the pitcher's delivering?
I think personally, anytime that I go into an at-bat, like, you obviously want the pitch down the middle, which would be a 3-4-5.
Right.
And the other stuff is what, you know, you're adjusting to deep in a count that you have to cover. So I would say 80% of the bats, I'm looking for something 3-4-5.
Right.
But, you know, those guys don't always hit their spots and/or don't always, you know, throw it where I want it. So you have to be able to cover those later in counts, or, you know, sometimes a guy lives, a lefty might live with a fastball 5, 6, 7, and, you know, if you know that's coming, then maybe you adjust your 3-4-5 to that direction of the plate. But for the most part, I feel like I work on really not missing the 3-4-5 ball.
Right.
Because that's, you know, that's the one you can't miss, or you might not be playing very long.
How far out will you push a tee? Will you move it off the plate in, or is the goal to just kind of live on the edges?
There's some stuff occasionally that, you know, just to feel like your hand's really working inside the ball, but I try to stick on the plate because I don't try to work on swinging at pitches I don't have to swing at in the game, you know, so.
This is really cool. So we got the 7 ball plank here, and something that you'll put down even if the tee isn't here, even if you're seeing live pitching.
It's the same, you know, balls are crossing the plate over those baseballs, so it definitely helps out.
Lane Thomas, a guy that can get to any pitch from corner to corner, sometimes more than others, occasionally, but kind enough to walk us through this really cool drill. Lane, thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you guys.